So this is number 11 on worksheet number 2. Find the relative max. Again, there's no real shortcut. I've got to go through all of those pieces to finally land at the relative max. So job 1 would be take a derivative, which is going to involve the product rule. So I'm going to do first times derivative of the second, e to the negative x. Derivative of the second would be 2x plus 2, plus second times derivative of the first, x squared plus 2x. The derivative of e to the negative x, what's the derivative of e to the negative x? Good. Negative e to the negative x, or e to the negative x times negative 1. Okay, I want to set that equal to 0, which would be weird with that e to the negative x in there. But everything has an e to the negative x, so I'll just factor out e to the negative x. So that leaves 2x plus 2, and then you need to be careful with that minus sign, minus x squared minus 2x. So I'll clean that up a little bit. E to the negative x, negative x squared, the 2x's go away, plus 2. And I'm peeking at my answers, and some of my answers have square root 2 and negative square root 2, and I can see where that would come from. So I'm feeling good about what I've done so far. I don't know which of the answers it is, but I like that I see, in fact, I'm going to guess that it's either B or D before we get there. Because e to the negative x, that's never equal to 0. E to the x looks like this. So negative flips it over, but that's never equal to 0. What could equal 0 is this. So that would be plus or minus square root of 2. So yeah, it's either B or D. So let's see, I'm back to my process here. F prime, did that. Critical points, that's what these are. So now I'll do a number line with those points. And I'll test the intervals. What was the other class that asked about, is it always alternating? And the answer is it's always alternating if there's not any repeated roots. So these are not repeated roots, so I don't have to worry about alternating. So I'm going to plug in 0, because that should be an easy one, and just alternate after that. When I say plug in 0, I got a lot of stuff going on here. Where am I plugging 0 into? The original or the derivative? Why the derivative? What am I trying to learn when I plug in 0? Slope's a good answer. I want to know the slope because that'll tell me if I'm increasing or decreasing. So I really want g prime of 0. So, this is kind of a mess. Probably the simplified version is the best way to do it. So that's e to the 0, that's positive. 0 plus 2, that's positive. So if g prime is positive, what does that tell me about g? If g prime is positive, that means g is increasing. So I could write increasing, or I could do an arrow showing increasing. And then I'm feeling pressed for time, so I'm going to trust that we're alternating here. So decreasing, increasing, decreasing. And again, you don't need the arrows. You really don't even need the increasing, decreasing words. What you're supposed to use is the g prime. But man, if you translate that into decreasing, increasing, and then translate that into arrows, it's really easy to see that there's a maximum when we change from increasing to decreasing at square root of 2. So answer is D. again, long process. Take a derivative, set it equal to 0, put them on the number line, test the intervals, because that will tell you who's increasing and decreasing, and then you'll know where there's a max and where there's a min. And then obviously make sure you answer the right question.